Hello, hello, people of the internet. It's your boy with another funny video. New ship. Today we're looking at the Groningen. Now for coal, I think. I mean, it was essentially was like a must-have for steel. No, not for steel. For free XP. Because obviously a million free XP these days isn't a lot anymore. That's essentially a steal. That's also why they removed it and made all the remaining free XP ships coal ships, so they can suck more money out of the people. But the Groningen, I mean, it started with the Friesland, and then for some reason they removed Friesland and made it a Groningen. It's essentially a copy pasted Friesland into another nation / tech tree, which I mean, I have both because it also like makes sense. They're both premium ships. They were both 1 million free XP, which isn't a lot. And you have a tech tree line for the Dutch, and you have a tech tree line for the European destroyers. Then again, you also have like Ragnar and Smaland on the European destroyers, and soon you have Gdansk. But sadly, Friesland you can't get anymore. I don't even know if you can whale Friesland through Christmas crates or if it's completely removed. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. There's only like a collector character behind it, and probably the only issue for people would be the captain, since as I said, for Friesland you'd be able to use the Gdansk, Haaland, Smaland, Ragnar captain, whatever you have or whatever you play already there, because it's like 4 other tier 10s, and on the Dutch line you essentially share the captain with a cruiser that most people don't even have or don't even want to play. So I highly doubt that people have like a 21 point Dutch commander, especially if they don't play the game a lot. But yeah, apart from the captain, like you can make Friesland or Groningen work with a very low point commander as well. You don't have to necessarily have a 21 pointer. I think something like a 17 or 16 is already fine, which is easy to reach. And at the moment on tier 9, it's like essentially the only DD that is really worth it to get for coal. Just because like the others are a bit too expensive in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie there. Like if you go for shit like Black or what was it, like Nustra Shimmy, and they're good ships, I will cover them too. But they're really expensive. Like since they were originally for steel, they traversed the price, or they went out and put the price in for coal, and for some reason it's like higher than battleships even. So yeah, what do we do here is, I mean, essentially there's one Annapolis who spawned in the middle. He's already spotted, so there's not going to be a raider here. There's going to be a sub on the flank, that's for sure. But I have hydro and smoke, so I can just park inside of the cap, and I can occupy the cap myself now. There you see the torpedoes. We just gotta be careful that the second set isn't aimed into our reverse. He actually came into cap. Would be good if someone has spotting on that. Go forward. Gonna insta DCP, stop shooting so the sub can't reping me, or doesn't have any idea where to reping. Gonna move forward. It wasn't a Haaland in the cap actually, that's very interesting. Or was it a submarine? Sadly no one is really spotting the Haaland and I can't really go for it. But good thing is I have a hydro on, so the submarine can't really resurface inside of my hydro without getting spotted. I would hope that my battleships dropped some ASW. I wouldn't know though, because... okay, the sub is turning away since he's launching torps again. That's his ass launchers, I think. I wouldn't know though, because I had to care about dodging torps rather than dealing damage to the submarine myself. Can't really hunt the sub in this situation, that's fairly obvious. It's not something that works out very well. But yeah, as you can see here, Groningen is essentially just a budget, or like a tier 9 Sherman kind of. If you want the same gameplay on tier 10, you get a Sherman. It's even more demented, to be honest, because of the sap and the higher DPM. Okay, this one I will eat, I think. Even with Axle mod, I can't accelerate out of it in time, I think. Yeah. Fuck. Got caught in reverse there. Alan is just AFKing around here and torping the smoke, which is quite sad. That was unfortunate and also very unnecessary to eat that torp. But yeah, the problem is now, because I ate this shit torp, I can't really run at him. Because I lost most of my HP. Actually, wait, he's actually spotting me. Or is it this? That's the Holland. It's the sub as well and the Holland. Would be kind of cool if my funny team would actually drop him with depth charges, or not my team, my battleships mainly. I got a DCP out of both of them, I think. I can just go behind the rock. I don't have to DCP that ping. Shoot the Holland a bit more. Gun-wise, arc-wise, it's essentially a copy-paste Smaland. It just has less DPM. It has more DPM, obviously, than the tech tree line, I think. But it has less than a Smaland. Now I have, obviously, 10% AR. The thing is, actually, I'm going to keep the ping on me. Because if he sends Torps now out to those people, that's just like a quick, or a small little gimmick. He sends Torps to the others, and I still have the ping. The torpedoes start immediately homing on that ping. So the Torps that he sends out are instantaneously worthless, because they would home into an island. Yeah, doesn't really make that much difference, or isn't really like that important, but I just thought, like, I mean, whenever you can grief a sub, you should grief a sub, kind of, right? Enemy team is getting tortured in base by Argado, who is from the land, so he probably has hands and is very proficient in submarine griefing. The entire game is going to be a wee bit fucked for us, though, because we don't have a carrier anymore. I don't know how he died that fast. Guess he turned flat in base and a bunch of BBs had angles on him. The Argado hit a torp there. This guy will DCP, I think. Or he doesn't have DCP? Yes, he doesn't have DCP. We could actually kill the Patrie here. Just gotta be careful about the Annapolis. That's why I'm going pretty safe behind islands. The Annapolis, I don't want to be in his radar. I don't want to be in his burst. I'm very slow. I don't have a speed boost on my DD. Generally, it really is kind of like a similar playstyle than the Sherman, where you want to have smoke and hydro ready against torpedo boats and caps, which I did in the beginning. But you can only do this. This is the same thing for like Z42, Z52, whatever fucking DD you're playing that has hydro. These cap approaches with hydro and smoke you can only do if there's no radar on your dumbass. Like if there's any sort of radar, even 7.5 DD radar, you're completely and utterly worthless. But that's pretty obvious, right? Because you have 5 or 5.5 or 6 km hydro, and radar obviously trumps that. So essentially it. Sadly, the Annapolis isn't lit there. I would really like to get damage on him. I'm a bit scared that people rush through that gap and get onto my dig. Oh, actually, he ate 2 torps, but he's not spotted. That's the problem. The submarine is on the surface, by the way. Argado has no air anymore. Our U has no air anymore. Hopefully our Schlieffen, if the Schlieffen blows up the sub, Argado can actually be dark, kind of, or live, kind of. We're just gonna camp here with Conde, Schlieffen, Patrie and shit, and wait until the enemy BBs run it at us. Yeah, our submarines are turbo griefers, holy shit. They're dismantling their entire team. That's pretty lucky. So even when our carrier just blew up for no reason, we still have a chance of... okay. I'm a smoke here and immediately shoot. I don't want him to be able to run at us for too long. Also, I can just go behind a rock afterwards. I'm gonna go like this to the right, because the Repub and the Mecklenburg are coming in there. Okay, don't know why I'm spotted. But that didn't make sense. Why am I lit? Papa Defe. Doesn't really do much, but okay, why not? This guy's just sitting there, so we gotta farm him out. You have to obviously run away from hydro battleships because you don't have a means of getting rid of them when they're close with torps. So this is kind of what people get stuck in, or don't really they don't really realize the danger they're in these kind of DDs that don't have torpedoes. I mean, in Ragnar it's not that big of a problem because you don't have a smoke, so people don't get, I mean, people blow up in Ragnar anyways, but people don't get themselves stuck in smoke that much with Ragnar. just because it doesn't have a smoke, they don't really feel like playing close. But in Groningen, I see it way too often, or Friesland. People just play way too close in smokes, and then they get run over by some hydro or radar or whatever the fuck not. You don't have torps, so people know that, and people will run at you. Therefore, okay, there's a submarine to my... I should probably hydro, maybe I catch this up. Oh yeah, the Gado actually. Look at this. Okay, insta-fire. Double insta, okay, that's good. I can probably kill him before he even reaches my hydro range. Maybe, I don't know. Nope, I can't, he's hydroing me now. Not burning down fast. He doesn't have hydro on, okay. That's really good, that's really good. I had to chance it kinda because if I run out, I said like you can see the Paulo Emilio there. I'm gonna hopefully kill this guy before the Paulo comes around. Okay, this is a bit of a fucking autistic YOLO moment, and my... Okay, I couldn't outrun the Torp. I mean, the guy blows up for it. Yeah, but the Gado also pinged me from the side. I thought I would be pretty safe because, I mean, you saw I still had a Patrie and a Conda. But I guess they were both too stupid to stay alive against the battleships. The Gado is in the cap, or is it... No, it's the Ibuki in the cap, I think. Yeah, well, we'll probably lose this. I mean, our Musashi can theoretically kite the 32 millimeter repub. I mean, he's shooting the Mecklenburg though, so that's quite stupid. Problem is just we don't have a carrier. Our U will never kill that carrier. So essentially it all falls on this guy, who either has to randomly remove people like crazy. He can cap C behind them and we have a point lead. But I mean, as it seems, the the battleships and the carrier will just kill the Azuma. Carrier still has full planes. Obviously, it's a P Navy turret that's on my blacklist. Yeah, well, I mean, 140k is fine though. We will lose the game though. Whatever. The Paulo Emilio was really like not what I wanted, but I mean, the Ibuki also ran it in, so I probably would have blown up there anyways, because my team around me died. That's really, as I said, like, I mean, I just mentioned it while it happened. Like, if you get yourself stuck in a smoke and people run at you, you have a problem. I guess I don't have torps. I had a way better position there than the Paulo, because I could kite around the island for a while, but the man had like 28 kHP, and I can't just randomly remove that fast. But if I had like at least like short range torps, I could have blown them up. So for the spec, on Groningen, you kind of need AFT. You can drop Fearless Brawl though for, I don't know, either BFT, probably Superintendent. It could be interesting for lots of people. You can waste your smokes pretty heavily. You don't really care about that. So, I mean, I guess if you want to get more safe, you take Superintendent. Concealment is kind of needed. You only have 20 HP with Survivability Expert, and you don't have a heal, and you're really slow. You don't have a speed boost. So getting caught means you lose HP, and being spotted from like more than 7 km is kind of a disaster in this one. I would never take that, because it's definitely not worth 5% more DPM or some shit. That's absolutely demented. So this is the spec I would use, because games are not long enough for 4 smokes for me. 3 mostly are enough. Yeah, only like the 20-minute games it could become interesting. On the modules, you probably want to run Hydro. That would be pretty key, same as on Sherman, because otherwise your Hydro doesn't even last or outlast your smoke. It's 132 seconds, and this is 127 seconds. So plus the deployment time. So the Hydro doesn't even last the entire smoke theoretically, but if you don't run the Hydro mod and the Hydro flag, you have a big problem. Otherwise, yeah, you obviously go reload, same modules as always. Yeah, it's just like the Hydro mod, probably something you should get. I mean, you can get pretty nice XP on this one, because it's the same as on the battleships, even though the punching down isn't as easy, because you're still a destroyer. And you don't like randomly get like high penetration, where for example on Kida or Akizuki, punching down on tier 6-7 ships is really easy because you penetrate them everywhere. This ship has to go through HE penetrations and fires. But what you can do is, like in tier 7, 8 matchmaking, there's very little radars most of the times. Also very little long range radars. I mean, you're kind of unlucky. My team boasts one radar that has zero range, and they get Santander that doesn't die, Baltimore with stealth radar, like it has 200 meter stealth radar, and then a Talon with 12 km, though the Talon radar isn't that problematic. But he could poke me over and over, and it said like I don't have a heal, so could be annoying. But yeah, tier 7, 8 matchmaking, you can really just sit in caps, farm, and get the cap at the same time and keep DDs out. Also tier 7 and 8 destroyers can't really fight you, most of them. Your DPM is just too crazy. Not crazy enough to really like smash people in tier 10, like Groningen or Friesland is something that suffers a lot in tier 10 matchmaking. Because of like obvious reasons. You're too slow, too shitty, you have too shit of a conceal. So the amount of radars and heavy gunboats that run around there, they can catch you out pretty easily. And yeah, I mean, even if you don't blow up in one go, because you still have 20k HP, you're not gonna have a lot of fun against like Nevsky, Moskva, Smaland, Shermans, whatever. Because you gotta be really smart about your approaches on caps. You probably have to make use of islands in high tier matchmaking more often. In tier 6, 7, 7, 8 matchmaking, you can probably play more open, either on the flank or in the cap. To be honest, here it's like really 50-50 what I'm supposed to do. I could go into the flank and spot. But I don't really have spot myself behind me because I'm the only DD. We don't have a carrier. So most likely people go dark when I smoke up. So I'd rather go for the cap. And I will do it. By the way, yeah, good thing here. You wouldn't want to go into this area because the people that go to these islands can radar you and shoot you. You want to be here. You're closer. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings moment, right? Where the hobbits say to Treebeard they want to go around. Or like, wait, okay. I mean, I'm fucking spotted already. They're going to blow me up, turbo. The Yugumo is running at the cap. Okay. A bit fucking unfortunate. We can finish the Tales of Lord of the Rings analogies in a second. Okay, he smoked me off. That is really good. And they all missed me. Yeah, okay. But I didn't kill him. I hope the Talon randomly blows his radar now. Would be really good. He's still in the cap? I think he still is in the cap. I mean, I have Hydro on. I can just reverse into him. He doesn't have a lot of... Oh, wait, where? Was I... Very cringe blind fire here, very try hardened. Oh, there he is. I have nothing to do though, so... Oh yeah, there he actually is. Ah, he's reversing in. I think. Is he reversing into my Hydro even? Did he move forward again? I think he moved forward again. I gotta go quick fast. Ah, he reversed deeper. That's what he did. I think he's like really deep into me. Now then, he would be spotted by Hydro. Ah, bro, I don't fucking get it anymore. That's a pretty demented moment here. Okay, so my team on the minimap left the flank, so that allows the enemy team to run it there. Which means I gotta be a bit careful here to not go wide now, or not pop a smoke at a shitty timing. Otherwise, they might just overrun me. Yeah, but what I meant with the hobbits is like when they tell Treebeard to turn around and go closer to the danger, because it's the least thing people expect. Sometimes in World of Warships, kind of the same thing, right? Like you can go closer, makes you easier to actually dodge stuff. Not even joking. The Yugumo went wide again. The Alsace turned in, which is important. Means that the Alsace is not gonna run around the flank and into my mouth, and I couldn't deal with him. So I think we're going to the flank now. We are off to the flank. For sure. No one cares about the Hipper. That's how mediocre that ship is, I guess. No one gives a shit. I should probably go in front of the Alsace and try to get him out. Don't really achieve much from behind. I could just go forward, or the Alsace could just go forward. Yeah, but sometimes being closer than trying to a bit further away, like, even though this contest spot, for example, looks better, and like these people on these islands here can all shoot you. Well, here you might eat a bunch of shit because you're spotted too early, like I am, because I don't expect the Yugumo to run it into my mouth. But afterwards, you can duck behind the island like I did faster and lose less HP. It's kind of where you want to contest there. Well, we're not looking great because the enemy team is parking cap, so obviously the best thing would be now to... Like, I ate a torp. 2 torps actually, which is really good. Wait, doesn't he have a DCP? He doesn't have a DCP. Interesting. Can kill him here. I don't know why my Duke of York runs it in here. I also don't know why he tries to go for a ram. I think he blows up 2 torps anyway, so... That's pretty stupid. I'm not gonna use a smoke here. Just gonna try and angle out the moment the Alsace shoots me to keep my smoke for right after I kill the Alsace to go into the cap. Okay, that guy shot HE. That's pretty bad, but I could dodge it because he can't aim. Lucky. Alsace dispersion isn't that good. You can probably just angle ass in and the dispersion will most likely cuck him, not allow him to do too much damage. Okay, this guy gets steal by the Ruprecht. Ruprecht now could really just game on these people. We weren't like really in a hurry to shove into the cap. If you have committed ships like the Alsace, you can kill him. So you get points through the kills through the kill anyways, and you don't necessarily have to immediately end yourself into it to block cap. Gotta be a bit patient there. It looks bad because it's a triple cap against us, but see, now we killed like 3 ships and we're even on points again. And we have multiple ships still stuck in positions where we could kill them. Like for example, this Brest is not looking too smart. In the middle of nowhere. The Lion is coming in, the Talon is committed. So if you look at such a mini-map and the Santander Turpits are kiting on the other side while we pretty close to touching cap. If you see such a mini-map, you don't really have to hurry into caps. And just focus on killing people. Because this is always the thing. Like in the end, it doesn't matter how long you have the caps. If the enemy team is full HP and can shove into it, how do you stop them from doing that, right? Okay, this guy blew up. Good. I'm gonna hydro here. Now I can sit in the cap against the 2 DDs. Just annoy the shit out of them. This is Poppy clan tech, so I could imagine he turns his turrets in a second for me. Just to fuck with me. I'm radared by the Talon, which I don't really care about. Shooting open water anyway. Like the Yugumo can't gun engage me at the moment, and the Fletcher should be behind the island on my left, so not really an issue either. So I could just run at this guy with open water gunboating. Smoke is ready, so I can just smoke up in the cap. Smoke now, because Fletcher is a bit unknown, and slowly but surely I get the feeling that he's waiting for me, because I was shooting all the time. By the way, I want to go dark, but I still keep crawling with quarter speed to make the smoke a bit bigger. I slow down completely. Doesn't really matter, but if you have to hardcore slow down, you can always stop at a quarter speed and then crawl a bit, so the smoke at least gets like 2 small puffs additionally. Because bigger smokes always mean the enemy DD has a harder time torping it to shit. Yeah, I want to spam a 3D printer because you don't have fucking fire prevention, you dumb dog. And you're actually currently dying rather quick to me. Yeah, now you DCP and you 3D print at the same time. Which is actually demented, by the way. It's really dumb. If you have a fucking super heal BB, you either DCP or heal, but you don't do it you don't keep it to use it at the same time. It's really stupid. It's really stupid. You You should have DCP'd way earlier. And then use the heal to cover DCP cooldown, and then do it the opposite side. The sooner you start cycling it, the longer you can live in the end. But hey, my guy tries to explain to me what to do or not to do in a Groningen. Especially like he's like the only one I can shoot. And he's on a double fire, and I can just kill him. Because even if he's a 3D printer, if he doesn't play fire prevention, look at how much damage I can deal in quick succession just because he has no fucking fire prevention. I mean, good job for you, or good job that you play Furious. Probably Furious build, whatever. Fletcher actually up top there. Doesn't really matter. The hipper is still being ignored because it's a hipper. I mean, doesn't do anything, so whatever. Yeah. Yeah, coming back to the price tag, I think Groningen is a bit cheaper for coal. I mean, obviously, now that there's so many coal ships, it's really debatable if you should get the tier 9 premiums for coal. I mean, you should definitely start off with the tier 10 ones, like Moskva, Napoli, Marceau. They're like BBs? I don't know, they're like tier 10 BBs? I think so. But yeah, you should start off with the tier 10s, and then if you and the captains, some of the captains like Kuznetsov, Lutyens, Cunningham, Aubonnieu, like those are really good. Swirsky is kind of like whatever. Swirsky isn't like really that strong. And now with Jaeger, it's kind of funny, but it's more like a joke than an actual like great ship with great commander. It's like shitting more torps that deal 0 damage. Is HE loaded? Are you fucking serious? Well, I'm open watering again because my smoke is coming up. Oh, I had 14k HP, so it's very unlikely these people do that much damage to me. Double fire immediately. Obviously, you're a fire spitter, kind of like Smaland, kind of like Ragnar, kind of like Sherman. Everything like you go through fires. So always, if you see a battleship without fire prevention, like this one or the Lion, you can immediately start spamming them because the 2 midsection fires are too much damage over time that the heal and the DCP cycles can't really keep up. The moment you play fire prevention, or like fire prevention and improved repair party readiness even, you get the heal and DCP cycles down so fast that a single destroyer couldn't really kill you anymore. That would be impossible. It's like try fighting a fire prevention Montana with a Nevsky, completely 1v1. You would never kill him. His heal is too improved. You only get 1 fire, so he most likely, and you don't pen anything, so you just heal back most of the shit. Yeah. That people are coping about this HE spam is quite ridiculous because the main reason why it's busted is because BBs don't spec their ships correctly. That's just essentially the gist of it. Yeah, I mean, as you could see, this matchmaking, we only had the Tallinn on our side, which is obviously the great thing. That's what I said in the first game as well. You can really sit in caps or go for caps and just park inside of them like a turd if you don't have the radars there. We only had the Tallinn radar, which is very short. Then also you can think about the fact that he most likely doesn't run radar module because it's a tier 8, he's grinding, whatever the fuck. He also didn't seem like a very smart person. He went on rocks with Tallinn, even though Tallinn in that line is still the one that kites on the flank. That's also why I, in the end, thought about going to the cap, because my idea was like Baltimore or Santander would hide on an island that I can contest from here, and the Tallinn would be kited. In the end, it turned out Santander and Baltimore aren't even there, and the Tallinn sits on an island, but that doesn't really matter because the radar duration is dog shit. And this is it with the tier 6-7 matchmaking. It just takes you longer to punch down. But I mean, if I had a Georgia or a Jean Bart, I could probably just mauled over their face on the flank. Or Ruprecht here, for example. Or Ruprecht could have run them over. Maybe he did. I didn't really see it. I don't think he did though. Groningen, obviously you have to get times and smokes going and smoke over and over again and farm for a prolonged amount of time. But then the ship can be really rewarding, because you have this long-lasting smoke with a hydro, which makes you kind of hard to torp in there too. And you have this high DPM with good fire chance. You most likely end up with 130-40k average. That's the max you can reach. Sherman can obviously reach a bit more. Sherman's like 150-60 for sure. Groningen 135 or so is really, really nuts. I think you would be like top kick on the scoreboard. Okay, here we ended up being third because our super ships are demented as shit. Or were demented as shit. Interesting, their Satsuma ended up being second, even though he got griefed out by submarines. Amazing. Our carrier was also hilariously dog shit. Just died in base. But I mean, whatever. super ship matchmaking. That's the thing with tier 9 premiums. If you get those, you might have an issue. Otherwise, still very good ship. I can look in the Armory as to what the price is, because I personally remember that. Yeah, look, I think that's the order according to the price tag, and Black and Nusra Shimmy are insanely overpriced. Like, they cost more than tier 10 ships. They cost more than tier 10 carriers, and they're nuts as fuck. So, I mean, I don't know, you can get a Moskva for 60k. 60k? No, 50k. 50k, 52k less than a Black or a Nusra. So I definitely take this. You can even get a Khabarovsk for, what is it, 56k less? Wow. So yeah, and if we go down, there comes a tier 10, tier 10, tier 10. Marsu is like even way cheaper in Sherman. There you go, Groningen. Groningen actually kind of on par with the tier 10s. As I said, you should get them first. But for example, before I would get a Trump or Alvaro, I'd think about getting a Groningen if I have the commander on it. And obviously this is where the trash starts, stuff that you don't need. Yeah, Z44, by the way. Nah. Don't ever get that thing. Even though they buffed it, it's still horrendous horseshit. So yeah, I guess it sticks with Groningen. Sadly, you can't get it for free XP anymore, but I would assume that most people have a Friesland or a Groningen already. So yeah, maybe you just look at this video and see how you can play it potentially. Anyways, see you for the next DD, and have a great time.